Hello everyone, I have some time just to make another video before the next few days get quite chaotic and busy, so I'm taking this time just to make as many videos as I can before I have a break from it in a few days. So I just want to, because I'm sort of designing a training program for people who are coming over from Western Hemisphere countries to other countries, perhaps in the Pacific Islands and things like that. And it's really about trying to understand, or teaching people to understand, how they've been conditioned to learn in a certain way. So throughout primary school and nursery, and just our parents even speaking from birth, being exposed to light and sensory stimuli invasively, such as bright light when we are given birth to, we experience all of these layers of conditioning, and then that kind of helps us assimilate throughout our lives. That's one theory. And when we get to education, we are given books which sort of mirror or allude to certain value systems, ways of knowing, ways of thinking, lenses of appropriation, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, who villains are, what to look out for. For example, we're sort of looking out for the big bad wolf who's going to eat grandma. It's those kinds of alert, fight or flight mechanisms that are being activated potentially when we are experiencing preschool education. When we get a bit older, we may view through a Eurocentric lens, which sets us up really for limiting our capacity to be flexible in our thinking. And this Eurocentric learning may or may not help make us side with one or the other. Like positivist theory, scientific theory is mostly about yes and no, good or bad, right or wrong, proven, not proven. And in a lot of training, health professions training, including the police work, there is a lot about sort of mental health and whether someone is well or unwell. There's not really any flexibility to explore all of the influences that have generated our prejudice and labelling theory over people. So mental health diagnoses are therefore used as power. We tend to overlook these things and just trust that our education systems are designed to give us the most enriching experience and nourish our minds. So we go out there and fight the good fight. But I think the reality is that the Eurocentric lens and way of learning can separate you further from other from cultures that you may not have experienced before, and may sort of create a layer of fear over people where they experience difficulty in just being themselves and using their own intuition and assimilating into any kind of culture and actually seeing beyond the culture. I like to think that we are of a one planet mindset, but we're not, because of previous colonialist action on other countries and the colonialisation of education and secular states. So we do live in a very constructed society, and I think when we learn how to unlearn all of that, which is what my training is about, we learn to decondition ourselves and restore back to a sense of not oneness perhaps, but just seeing the situation for what it is instead of jumping to labels and certainty for answers that we really cannot find because there is no real truth. And even that theory is not true. I'm really just getting downloads and giving these ideas to you. So if you are training people about racism or isms or any form of discrimination, it may be useful just to utilise like natives of that country and assist people emigrating to work, to like unlearn and sort of uncondition what they have previously been assimilated in terms of the education system. And I think, therefore, if we try that, we're going to be able to deconstruct these notions of privilege, power, pedestals, and hierarchical systems and customs of like behaviour, social expectations. So it's really important to come outside of your own learning and try to sit with all the uncomfortable and uncertain possibilities that everything you've learned may just be a lie and a mechanism utilised to benefit the economy of the country that you work in. So I'm going to go more into this in my next video. Thanks.